Hello again, and so now we are moving to our second main and most important objective within this unit. So if you remember, along this unit called Once Upon a Time, we went through different types of texts and stories that took place in the past simple. And this is for one basic objective, which is to make our students able or to have a full command of the narrative tenses, presented here basically by the past simple. So in other words, the main or the second main objective of all this unit is to make our students able to use the past simple. I repeat again, the past simple freely and without hesitation, without thinking twice, and without making mistakes. So the process, that we took, along this unit was as follows. So at the beginning, if you remember, we listened, to a story about the voyages of Sindbad, which took place in the past simple. Then we moved to another story. Look here, if you can notice, most of the verbs are in the past simple, or this is the use of the narrative tenses. Look, the verbs was, had, if you look, called, through, and in order to know, and to acquire some verbs. There is also another story. Yes, this is the third story, this about the description of the town, which was built and painted, and different verbs, conjugated in the past simple. And here there was even this exercise included, if you remember, that we solved together. Also we went through this story of Alice in Wonderland and the different descriptions and the use of the past simple. However, when it came to the independent practice in our classroom, and when you were given the chance to describe or to discuss events that took place in the past simple, something that I noticed, and as a matter of fact, I noticed that the majority of students are still struggling with when it comes to the correct use of the past of this tense, the past simple, correctly and freely. Without thinking or without making mistakes, of course, with few exceptions in the whole classroom. And one of the common mistakes, of course, were related to the mix between the present and the past simple. So some examples were as follow. For example, some students, instead of saying she came, in the past, they just say or said she comes, by conjugating the verb in the present simple and neglecting the existence of the time expressions. And another big problem or big mistake, common mistake made during our sessions was the neglection of the irregular verbs. So a lot of students used to make the same mistake of just adding ed of all the verbs instead of making the necessary changes related to irregular verbs in the past. And let's say the truth, I agree with you, that by not it's not enough, it's not enough by just going through some text that you will become familiar with the use, or you will have a full command of the past simple. And of course it needs some solutions, and of course we are here to provide you with the solutions. So the first important thing that we have to understand about the past simple is that this tense is used simply, while talking about events or finished actions. Remember this thing, finished actions that took place in the past. So whenever I'm talking about something that happened, in a past time, so I am supposed to use or to turn it into the past simple. And of course we have some expressions that tell us that we are supposed to use, or yes, to use the past simple. And these expressions are called time expressions. We'll just go through this quick list, okay? Of course, we'll provide some examples. Look here at the given example. At the age of 18, okay, so when this person was 18, so probably now he's 40 or something, he won a wrestling match against Amalins, and of course maybe he died, okay, now. So look at the age, about at a specific time in the past. We have also this time expression yesterday, for example. Yesterday I went to the cinema. Yesterday I played a football match. Yesterday I did my homeworks. Yesterday, and etc. For then we have these expressions plus ago. For example, 2 days ago, 2 months ago, a year ago, 10 years ago, centuries ago. Also any expressions plus ago. Then we have the expressions last, okay, preceded by last weekend. For example, last weekend I went to my grandma's house, okay, to my grandmom's house. Now, the same thing here in a specific time in the past, okay, at the age of, or when. These are the time expressions that we use while talking about. And now moving on to the third important item regarding the past simple, which is which are the different endings of this tense. And these endings, okay, or the ending of the past simple is related basically, okay, to whether the verb is regular or irregular. So whenever we find a regular verb, we just add, okay, the familiar ending ed, okay. For example, played, watched, revised, okay, and so and so. However, if we shed light, okay, on this list of irregular verbs, we find that most of the verbs, okay, frequently used verbs, are not, okay, in this list on the easy side. So they are on the difficult side of irregular verbs, okay, which is in reality not something very, very hard, which requires only to make some efforts to go through them. So here, as you can see, the second side of the past simple, okay, which is related to irregular verbs that require complete change. So here, if we decide to go through some verbs, here we have the verb to be, or the auxiliary to be, okay. It has two changes in the past. Say I was, you were, okay. Everything related to singular with was, and you were, we were, they were. For this past participle at the moment, okay, we'll leave it alone. We'll just shed light on the past simple. Become, became, begin, began, okay. Brick, broke. Bring, here just to shed light on the pronunciation, it's brought, okay, not brought or broached, as so many students make this or say. So this irregular verbs, however, the project of irregular verbs is a mission, okay, that I think that we have started more than a month ago, okay. Before even holidays, I remember that I asked students, or asked you to go through this list, okay, given to you at home, to go through it, of course, and to try to memorize. This is the only solution. Let's say the truth, okay. This is the only solution for past simple, which is the most important component of mastering the language or mastering English in general. In order to have a good command of all the language, okay, of all this language in general, is that or starts, okay, by having a good command of the past simple, which by itself is based on memorizing or learning the irregular verbs. So here we have selected this amazing list of the most frequently used verbs, okay. We didn't go through all the verbs of English, but only the most important verbs. So what you are supposed to do, please try to go through all or each verb, okay, alone, then write an example. For students who say it's a tough exercise, this is a tough exercise and it's a lot for us, no, okay, we'll just show you an example of how you are supposed to do this task. For example, I'm learning the verbs, and I have here in my list, for example, begin. Then begin, okay, let's say begin, the past simple becomes began. Then I will add, or I will just make it in an example. At the age of 7, I began practicing sports. Then I will go through the second verb, okay. This is what you are supposed to do with all these verbs, okay. I think it's an exercise of no more than 1 hour or 30 minutes maximum, but of course you will gain and learn a lot from this work. So please make sure make sure just okay to send me this homework also in the upcoming days, preferably okay, preferably tomorrow if it's possible. Just okay, try to type the verbs, okay, the changes, because they will be counted and you will be tested, of course, in them, okay, because they are these verbs, okay, or the past simple in general is considered as the cornerstone of the mastery of the language in general. So thank you.